Hi, how you doing? This is William Myers from Manus Outdoors and Prepare Mind 101. I'm back with you here today to continue a series of water disinfection that we've started not only a couple weeks ago. But first I wanted to talk to you about a comment that I made in the first video on that series. And that if you have a healthy immune system, you're taking kind of a 50-50 shot if you're going to get sick. You're just flipping the coin. And what I mean by that is if you have some kind of a disease or ailment that is affecting your immune system, or you're extremely elderly, or a very, very, very small child, under 5, under 3, your immune system isn't up to par, what have you. You have a bigger risk of these pathogens, protozoas, viruses, bacteria taking a foothold inside your body. Now, if you, for instance, let's just do an example. We have rivers, streams, creeks, lakes, ponds that we go to have water activities in, jet skiing, swimming on a beach, what have you. So in the course of that event, you can't tell me that you haven't got some in your mouth, or you just keep your head above water up to here and you don't go underwater. No, I don't think so. You accidentally get it in your mouth. You accidentally swallow some. I mean, it just happens. You're swimming, you're jet skiing, what have you. You just expose yourself to waterborne illnesses. Cryptosporidium, Giardia, E. coli, on and on and on and on and on. The CDC has a page of waterborne illnesses like this. So, if you have a healthy immune system, a normal immune system, those viruses and protozoas and bacteria won't take a foothold inside your body. So that's kind of what I was saying, what I meant when I said that. Now, why? Well, then people would ask, well, then why would we worry about disinfecting our water anyway? Well, first of all, if you're drinking gallons of this stuff, you're exposing yourself to more of those viruses and protozoas. But the reason why is your immune system's not going to be normal if you suffer from an event in the woods, like if you break a leg, have a mechanical injury of some kind, or if you're just generally lost. You followed a compass bearing the wrong way. You're actually 7 degrees off and you followed it for 7 miles. That's that's a far off distance from your target. You could be lost at that point. You're not, especially if you're not able to associate any terrain on your map. Maybe your navigation skills aren't up to snuff, what have you. You're lost, you have a mechanical injury. The stress from that event is going to trigger mechanisms in your brain. One, for instance, is the SNS, the sympathetic nervous system. And the symptoms of that are massive. But one example of an instantaneous SNS reaction is if someone's in a closet and you come into the room and someone scares you, jumps out and scares you, that the SNS triggers that primitive fight or flight reflex. So either you're going to run away from them or you're going to try to kill them. You're going to try to beat them half to death. So that's an example of an instantaneous SNS reaction. A more prolonged SNS reaction would be an example if you're in a theater and you're watching an extremely scary movie, and that slow build-up of anxiety, and that whole time you're sitting there, you're anxious, and you get jump scared very easily from the people that are on the movie. That's a continuous, a prolonged SNS reaction. Imagine feeling that for 48 hours, 72 hours, the whole time, the whole day. So prolonged SNS reaction can have some pretty severe causes and effects. But let's talk about the SNS reaction, the sympathetic nervous system reaction right now. What that does to your body is the moment that I say, oh my God, I'm lost, or oh my God, I just broke my leg, the SNS is going to just dump serotonin into your brain. And your pupils are going to dilate. You're going to be able to take in more information. But your vision is going to narrow, your peripherals are going to narrow, so you might be able to take in more information and be focused on one target, but you'll be completely oblivious to something that's on your side. That could be bad in a wooded area especially. Your core, the SNS, depletes, not completely, but it takes blood from your core and fills your extremities with it, your legs and your arms, which means that you can run faster and you're stronger in some extreme cases, like for example, a woman be able to lift the F-150 off of her baby because it's trapped underneath of it. Extreme cases of that. Obviously, the bad parts of that is your core is robbed of blood, and prolonged SNS reaction can have some very, very traumatic effects on your organs as well. The other reactions of an SNS is the hair on your arm and the hair on the back of your neck stands up. You ever been scared and the hairs on your back of your neck and your arms stand up? There's not a lot of scientific backing to prove this. There's some studies that are being done that the hair standing up on the back of your neck and your arms is a way for the human body to detect electric output from another human or animal, period. So example of that could be if you were ever in a fight, or if you know somebody that's been in a fight, and they said, you know, I knew that guy was going to punch me just moments before he did. You know, there's not a lot of scientific backing to prove it, but there are some studies that are being done right now. Alright, so another SNS reaction is the blood vessels in your arms and your body and your legs. Sometimes they'll tighten up due to an SNS reaction. And what that does is it prevents you from bleeding as badly if you are injured. An example of that is if somebody that has been attacked on the street or in some kind of a fight or what have you and has been injured, actually they'll get sat down and get calmed down. SNS will subside, and they'll look over and say, that wasn't bleeding that bad 2 seconds ago. Now they're bleeding like a stuck hog. Those are some of the causes and effects of an SNS reaction. But the really bad one, the one that really goes to the video that we're getting ready to do right now, is that an SNS reaction can all but cease digestion. So I could have ate 3 hours ago. Now I'm scared for my life, and the thought of death is a possibility for me, so I'm really, really scared. What that's going to do, my SNS is just going to grow wild. I'm not going to have very much control over it unless I've honed that skill, and my digestion is going to pretty much all but cease. My immune system is going to take a huge hit during a prolonged SNS reaction, thus exposing me to waterborne illnesses if I don't disinfect my water. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do the basic first step to disinfecting our water if we don't have the means to boil it. We're going to make a coyote hole. Don't go away. Alright, what we're going to do right now is we're at the water's edge, and what we're doing is we're picking a spot very close to the water's edge, and we're going to dig a hole down below the water table, and that's slowly going to fill up with water from underneath, basically being filtered by the sand and the mud and the soot that exists next to the creek bed. And that's not 100% reliable, obviously. There's going to be some things that are still going to be in your water, but it's better than nothing. So let's go ahead and get to that. Alright, so we picked this spot right here. We're going to kind of make an outline where we're not going to go past. And this is really, really good soil for this, really sandy. It's what we want. So we just got a digging stick here. We're just going to start digging below the water table. And we let this fill up with water. I see where the water's coming. Alright, well, I'm not going to make you guys sit through the hole, digging of the hole. We're going to go ahead and finish this hole up, and we'll get right back to you. Get into that hole more.
It's filming.
Okay, you see that? Alright, guys. We've struck water. You can see that filling up, and what that's doing is we've dug below the water table, and it's coming through the sand bed kind of as a natural filter. Alright, so we're going to continue digging this out, getting a bigger coyote hole going. It's really, really rocky right here. Some roots I'm dealing with too. It's no big deal. But as you can see, this is just sludge right now. And we're going to take a big old drink of that. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to wait until this settles. We're going to clean this hole out, get the most of the debris that we can out. And we're going to let this fill up, and then we're going to let it settle. We're going to go back to camp, do other camp chores, stuff like that. And then by the time we come back, we should have some clear water on the surface, and that'll be partially disinfected. Alright guys, be right back. Alright guys, well, good thing about, I guess the bad thing and good thing is, no matter where you go, you can find trash. So we found this pop can out here, and what we're going to do is we're actually flushing the hole out. which means all this that we've been digging through and all that stuff, all that sediment, we're going to take that out one time, and that helps us when the hole fills back up. It'll be a lot clearer, and this will fill up until we actually backfill this hole. It's not like it's gonna stop filling up just once or twice. This will fill up, and until, like I said, we fill that hole back in. So we're gonna wait for that hole to fill back in. Actually, you can see the water seeping in. You can see the water line rising right now.
See the water swirling too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's filling up pretty fast. Actually, this is a pretty good spot right here. And all that water is being filtered through the sand and sediment from this creek. It's getting, yeah, it's a lot clearer now.
It is.
All right, well, we're gonna let this hole fill up. We'll get right back to you. All right, guys, well, this is filling up pretty good. It's looking pretty clear, but like I said in the other video, that's all that turbidity and particulate matter. We can take it to a 3-tiered filter, which spoiler alert, that's the next video in this series. We're going to output some fire videos and some other primitive skills, and then we're going to do another water disinfection video. But I could collect that water as it is right there. It doesn't look as clean and as clear as this water over here, but believe it or not, this is more filtered water. This is filtered through the sand and sediment from the creek bed itself. This is actually cleaner as far as, you know, viruses and protozoas and chemical. You know, this is a natural sand filter. You know, we basically just sand filtered our water. It has turbidity and particulate matter in it, but it is cleaner in a sense. Alright guys, well, this has been part 2 of our series of water decontamination. Thanks for reviews, comments, and support. See you out in the woods. Alright guys, well, this is part 2 of our series of water Alright guys, well, this is part 2 of our series of Alright guys, well, this has been William Myers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Environment. Controlling your core body temperature is the absolute most important thing in a self-reliant situation. But stick.
I'm just with you.
You are messing with me.